When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Sid and Friends in the morning. 77 WABC.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
Celebrating today Christine McVie's birthday. She would have been 81 years old, and she sings this song. You know, Stevie Nicks does most of the Fleetwood Mac songs. They all sing. Mick Fleetwood sings. Who's the other guy that sings for the band?
Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah, Lindsey Buckingham. He sang Trouble.
Yes.
This is a great song. McVie sang this. She would have been 81 years old today. But tell me lies. I mean, my God. I don't know if there was one thing that Biden talked about last night where he didn't lie that has nothing to do with his memory. None. What you just played, yes, that's a cognitive issue when he refers to Harris as Trump, when he refers to Zelensky as Putin. That is a cognitive issue. But when he just bold-faced stares at the camera and lies to the American public about everything from the economy to foreign policy to Trump like he did 100 times last night, that's not acceptable. There's no excuse. There's no, well, he's not physically up to it. I've said this for a long time. It's both. Both. He's not physically up to it, and he's as corrupt and crooked as it comes. But Bill O'Reilly was on yesterday. He was so good. And his tweets, which I read every single tweet, I read every single one of Bill O'Reilly's tweet. He was tweeting live during the press conference last night. I read all 15 earlier this morning. And it is fair to say that if you read them, you know why Bill O'Reilly is the best ever, whether it's 9 p.m. weeknights right here on WABC or his own great website, BillO'Reilly.com, great interviews, TV shows, all of it. Killing series, new book coming out. You're going to love this one. September the 10th, Confronting the Presidents. And he's getting new material every day for this imbecile. Here he is, the best ever Bill O'Reilly. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
You know, when I was a student in London, it was Christine Perfect. That was her name, and she played the local dance halls.
Very good.
And I saw her a number of times, and I agree with you that Fleetwood Mac and the whole crew, and I know them, all of them, are in the top 10 bands of all time.
I agree. And what's funny about what you did here was going to Christine McVie and Fleetwood Mac and not the press conference, is you said to me on other occasions, Bill, on and off the air, that you like it. You like it when we pay homage to certain singers and bands because you're a big music guy.
Yeah, I also think we need relief from this catastrophe that we're witnessing in American history right now. This is a catastrophe. It's not what they portray it to be on television news or in the newspapers. This is a total meltdown of the executive branch of our leadership. So when I'm watching Joe Biden, I'm thinking about my mother because my mother had cognitive problems as well. And I could ask my mother, because I went over every week. She lived in Levittown. I said, listen, Mom, I'll buy a nice house in Old Westbury, whatever you know. Want to stay, like the church, like the neighbors. But at the end, she just couldn't absorb information. But if I asked her, hey, Mom, tell me about your summer in Nantucket when you were a student at Boston U and you were working as a hostess in a hotel, tell me about that. She could do that.
It's amazing you said that because I purposely put CNN on last night, Bill, after the debate. I knew what Jesse Waters was going to say and the rest of them. And the first person that spoke, I don't know his name, he was very critical of Biden. The next two, including Paul Begala, said, listen, maybe his style wasn't great, talking about his gaffes, but the substance was terrific. Which
that's a bunch of bull, because the questions were terrible, and they were open-ended, unfocused, because the press corps in Washington doesn't live in the real world. They're not watching people sob in the parking lot of Piggly Wiggly after they buy their groceries.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they don't care about those people. They work for each other. Yeah, that was fascinating, Paul Begala, about having the president of Finland come into Biden's office. I was riveted on that one.
Right, or him sitting with...
Biden was on his game.
Or sitting there with Golda Meir 60 years ago, which no one...
Oh, my God. I mean, this was just bizarre. When you have an open border and you have drug overdose deaths, as we talked about yesterday, and prices for the essentials of life off the chart, and you have all of these problems overseas that we did not have in the Trump administration, and these guys are asking these kinds of crazy. Well, are you going to get a cognitive test? I get tested every day. Hey, that's not what I asked you. Are you going to get the test? I was like, I wanted Sam Kinison, the late comedian, to be, answer the question. Oh, it was just insane.
Well, stop right there.
It wasn't so much Biden
stop.
that was offensive.
Don't go any further. Don't go any further because you're brilliant already. And we just brought up Sam Kinison a couple of days ago with Rodney Dangerfield and Back to School. You're off to such a tremendous start. I got to stop it right here. We're going to go 2 minutes of commercials. That's it. 2 minutes. Bring you back, and you will continue to explain what you saw last night was absolutely bizarre. Don't go anywhere. Bill O'Reilly on fire. Coming right back.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning. Entertaining and informative.
Oh, you're my best friend.
77 WABC.
Another Fleetwood Mac right here. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. This was the song that Bill Clinton used. You may remember this was his kind of theme song. And I don't think Fleetwood Mac was very happy about it. I think they complained. I believe so. Just like, you remember when John Mellencamp, what's his name, from Arizona, John McCain used John Mellencamp's song, but Mellencamp is a liberal, and he got mad at John McCain.
No, Fleetwood Mac actually performed at Bill Clinton.
Oh, they did? Okay, then I was wrong about that.
Yes,
they were okay with it. Okay.
They're liberal.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me get back to Bill O'Reilly. So, Bill, I read every one of your 15 tweets this morning. They were great, but here was my favorite one, because I've talked about this ad nauseum. You used two of the three phrases, you left one out, that he mentioned over and over again last night. By the way, guess what? And, of course, anyway, what is the deal with that, Bill? What is that?
When you are talking to somebody and they use the same phrases over and over, like.
I hate
we all
that.
know people like that.
Yes.
And then and by the way, guess what? That means they're nervous because they're not really thinking about how they're phrasing their point. They're basically trying to get out whatever they want to say, but they don't really know what they want to say. Or they wouldn't be using, by the way, and I have my staff now counting up how many times he said that. So
you can go back to the debate too, Bill, and there too he did the same thing with, by the way, same thing.
Because what Biden does is he listens to his advisors before any appearance or any kind of thing. And they give him themes. All right, so this is what you're going to say. If they bring up the border, you're going to say it's Trump's fault. If they bring up inflation, you're going to say it's Trump's fault. All right, these are themes. But they can't write out, like on a teleprompter, which he had last night in the introduction to the press conference. They can't write that out for the questions. So when Biden gets out there, he's not really in command, as you and I are now in this conversation. He's not in command. He's spewing stuff out that he's been told to say.
Agreed.
And so people don't know that. I mean, I'm tested every day. How many times have he said that? He was just waiting to say it. But my favorite was that he consulted with his commander-in-chief about Ukraine.
And what's wrong with that?
You are the commander-in-chief.
You are
right? So what I took from that was he was looking in the mirror going, what should we do about Ukraine and Putin? And by the way, thank you, I believe Putin is now in consideration for vice president if Kamala gets the nod, as Biden has deemed him.
Well, you wanted to point out, too, that was number 5, the 5 tweet. He is the commander-in-chief that he said, I don't talk to Putin, but I'll talk to Putin. But
right. I'm not talking to Putin until he stops doing an invasion. And then 3 sentences later, he goes, but I'll talk to Putin.
Right, I'll talk to Putin.
He may be doing this on purpose just to drive everybody insane.
He may. There was one reporter, though, that I have to admit my antennas went up. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You know that, Bill. I can't stand that stuff. But there was one guy with a very thick European accent, and his question was basically he murdered Trump. He just murdered him. People in Europe don't want him. They're afraid he's going to get rid of NATO.
Right.
And
right.
He went on and on about how bad Trump was.
That was the Frenchman.
Yeah, what was that?
So the Biden people knew who was in the room. And that's why Biden had his little cheat sheet. About calling on people.
Well, I kept waiting for him to say the name Peter Doocy. I didn't hear that.
No, that was not going to happen. or the guy from Newsmax. Nobody's going to do that. They knew the the Biden communications office knew that this French reporter was on the scene. They also know that he hates Trump. So, of course, he's going to be on the list. Now, they didn't give him the question to Pierre or whatever his name is, but they knew Pierre was going to wail on Trump because that's what Pierre does.
Right.
All right? It's like Curtis Sliwa. You know he's going to mention Mayor Adams. You know it. Okay? So if he's in the room, that's what Curtis is going to do sooner or later. So you got the guy standing up. He's right in the zone where the Biden people want him to be, and there's the president going, oh yes, he's the devil. We have to finish the job. Yeah. What job? What job do you have to finish? All right. I don't see any problem that you've solved. This is for WABC later. I'm ignoring Sid right now. I'm going right to the listeners of WABC. 2 things. Send me one problem that President Biden has solved, bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Okay? And send me one thing you learned from that press conference last night that you didn't know?
Well, I learned that according to Biden, when he was asked to defend Kamala Harris, according to him, she's a great person and she did a terrific job with the border. I didn't know that.
I had a question that we went over yesterday, and I'm going to just read it. I don't want to be repetitive, but my question was, you appointed Vice President Harris to explore the root causes of illegal immigration 2.5 years ago. What did she report back to you? That's how you ask a question if you are a journalist. What did she report back to you? And then he's not going to answer the question because she reported nothing back to him.
Right.
All right? Yeah. But that's how you show the American public whether the politician is in command of the office. Now, I will go on record as saying that was the worst demonstration of journalism at the national level I have ever seen last night. There wasn't one penetrating question, not one question posed so that Biden was challenged. It was all a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
Okay? And these people should all be fired. If I were in charge of their news agency, they would be out of a job today. And if you notice, they were all reading the questions off their phones. They couldn't even formulate a question in their mind. They had to read it off their phone. This is why we have a political mess in this country.
No, I agree, and your overall theme that the press corps was miserable and embarrassing last night is all true. I just thought the president was, too. I mean, I can write down for you right now, Bill, 30 times that he lied. It has nothing to do with the press corps. 30 times that he lied, even when given softballs.
Sid. So that's the problem here. You have the Biden people who hate Trump. Nobody loves Joe Biden. That's just BS.
Van Jones says he loves him.
Yeah. They hate Trump so much they'll vote for a corpse, okay, if it isn't Trump. And that's literal, because everybody knows there's no way Biden's going to make 4 more years in that office, okay? He's just not. Everybody knows it. So when you have a situation where the electorate, the voters, are so polarized, it doesn't matter whether they lie. It doesn't matter. And it's the same on the other side.
True.
Trump could go up there and tell the MAGA people to drink the Kool-Aid that Jim Jones stirred up, and there'd be a line.
I agree. He doesn't do that, though. You're right, but he doesn't do it.
No, but he says, Donald Trump says things that are not precise and that are exaggerated.
A bit, but they're not. He didn't tell people, in other words, to drink bleach during COVID. I mean, come on.
No, and he didn't say that the American vets during World War I were suckers.
Right, he never said that.
I investigated that myself,
right,
personally.
Yes, you did, and you uncovered the truth, yes.
And they're still saying that.
I know.
Yesterday in Dallas, Harris still said, Trump said he's going to be a dictator on day one. You know, lady, there comes a point where your lies basically eliminate you from being taken seriously.
Well, you say that. I want to ask you this then, because, the president was an hour late last night. It was supposed to start at 6:30. It didn't start until 7:30. So after the press conference, I went to CNN. But before, I did watch Fox News, and it was specifically Laura Ingraham. She had Lara Trump on. It was very good. And Laura said this, Ingraham. I'm not sure if you're a friend of hers or not, a fan of hers. She said, look, here's what I see. He's going to go away, Biden. They're all going to unite around Kamala, black lady, female, likable, terrific. There was a poll yesterday where Biden and Trump were in a dead heat, but Harris beat Trump by 2 points. She really believes, like you, that Biden's going to go away and Harris will get the job, and Harris will be much more difficult competition for Trump than Biden. Your thoughts?
Oh, it's a little complicated. So I do believe that Biden will not be on the ticket, but it's going to be a struggle, all right, because of Jill Biden, and now, he's pumped up, all right? So you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm the president, that attitude. But if you watch the power brokers inside the Democratic Party, they all want him out. And there's nowhere else to go but Kamala because of the money factor. She inherits much of the money that they've already raised. None of the other candidates could. So that's what's going to happen. And once that happens, you're correct. Kamala Harris will be the greatest leader since Abraham Lincoln. The greatest person. You've never seen a person like that. The problem with it is that every journalist and the Trump campaign has 4,000 clips, all right, videotape of Kamala Harris saying the most insane things that you could say.
You're being by the way, when you say insane, you're a much better person than me. Stupid. She says stupid things.
I don't think she's a stupid woman.
Well,
I
that's
don't
debatable.
think
That's debatable.
Well, if you're a woman that comes out of local politics and you get to the vice presidency,
right.
you're not a moron. Okay?
Well, but she's good. Well, hold on. She's good looking, and ask Mayor Brown about what her real talent is.
All right. She doesn't know anything.
Correct.
All right. Her frame of reference is ridiculous, and she's lazy. So you combine no knowledge with no work ethic, and it's a disaster. So I had a column last week, Kamala for President, BillO'Reilly.com. I said if the choice were Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, I would vote for Biden. I think Harris is more dangerous than Biden.
Agreed.
Because Harris is a true believer in socialism, in woke, in progressive race-baiting politics. I mean, one of the lead analysts on CNN last night was an African-American woman I had never seen before, wailing about her being denied constitutional rights. Her, on CNN. My constitutional rights as a black woman have been violated since I was born. That's what that woman was putting out there on CNN. And that's why I hate Trump, because he violated all my constitutional rights. The record is that African Americans under Donald Trump had the best economic profile in history. In history, if you look at real wages for African Americans in those 4 years and unemployment, it was the best economy that black Americans have ever had.
And that is a statistical fact. Sorry, right. John Legend.
Right. But he's a racist. But Trump's a racist. See, this is the kind of stuff that when you get into it, it just deteriorates the country. It tears the fabric of the country apart. And if Kamala Harris ever becomes president, she will tear this nation apart because she doesn't care about the folks. She cares about power, just like Biden. Biden doesn't care about you. He doesn't. Trump, I've known for so long. Trump actually, I think, and I've seen it with my own eyes, does have feelings for regular people.
He does. Agreed.
I've seen it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay?
Yeah.
But I have never seen Joe Biden have a feeling for a regular person, and I'll prove it by saying that all of those poor people in Georgia, the cop killed in Long Island and Mass, he never picked up the phone to call the families. Not once.
Not once. So
he looked at his watch when the bodies came back from Afghanistan at Dover Air Force Base.
Yes, he did.
You think this guy cares about you?
No, he doesn't care.
Of course not.
Look at his watch like Jane Fonda did in the bathtub in the movie Clute. So,
well, look, I can't get it through to the Trump haters because I know them personally, and they just walk away. They hate him so much, it's irrational. And I don't know, how November is going to come out. I do still believe that Biden is not going to be on a ticket, but then you have a bigger danger emerging in Kamala Harris.
Well, that was a heck of a 20 minutes, man. I swear to God, Bill, I need a cigarette. It was that good. I thought you were great yesterday. You may have been better today. So thank you so much for coming on and talking about what did happen last night and what we're in store for. I agree with everything you're saying. Be careful what you wish for. Be very, very careful what you wish for. Bill O'Reilly, magnificent job. I love you. Thank you so much.
All right. Have fun in Milwaukee. Get me a Brewer T-shirt, all right?
Yeah, I'll have Bud Sealer give you a call on his cell phone. How about that?
That'll be great. I have some advice for Bud.
Okay.
Move out of Milwaukee.
We'll talk at least once, maybe twice in Milwaukee, too. Okay, pal?
All right, thanks, Ed. Bye.
All right, the great Bill O'Reilly. Man, that's a treat. You get Bill O'Reilly 2 days on. He's brilliant. I mean, go to BillO'Reilly.com. His tweets, the way he broke down the press conference before and after, you'll be hard-pressed to find. You won't find better coverage.
There was a time when summer surprised us, when galleries opened minds, adventures opened hearts, and we all remained open to whatever the day might offer. It was a time to enjoy. It was summer, this summer, at Biltmore. Plan your visit or overnight stay so you can enjoy the marvelous works of Chihuly and savor the season. Reserve now at Biltmore.com.